Hi. Thank you.
Sure. I guess we'll just get right back into it since we're running a itsy bit behind, not much.
Well,
Hi.
I have time after as well.
Oh, we're fine. Eric, how are you doing, sweetie?
Oh, he's doing fine. In fact, the reason we were running slightly behind is because he was giving an incredible monologue to someone just a moment ago.
Awesome. So he's still helping people.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I heard the family event was awesome.
Oh, at yes, he totally surprised me. He did not tell me he was coming through.
Surprised.
Nothing,
Somebody
nothing
said
was
they saw
prepped.
a blue glowing orb about the size of a palm leave you when Gracie was coming in. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. We should
Okay.
probably start filming around the room and see what shows up.
No, that would be so cool. I've got a lot of little questions that I don't know if it'll take up an entire YouTube, but we can do a potpourri kind of thing. Here's one that's a little bit long-winded from a guy. I believe you mentioned once that we retain our personalities as souls, but are being individualistic, but that being individualistic is not so important in the spirit world as it would when we are incarnate. Are there fundamental aspects of our personalities that tend to be present in all our various incarnations? Like if we're attracted to the arts instead of the sciences, would that aesthetic nature need to be creative always, need to be creative, always be present in some form in most of our life experiences?
First of all, he loves the question. But
Yes.
I wish everybody could imagine in their head as Elise is asking the question, like Eric's leaning up against my secretary. I'm working from home still, and he's come on, get to the question, because there's a lot of explain. Yeah, yeah, go on. Oh, now there's the meat of the question.
Oh,
That's a big
yeah.
damn question. And he's talking the whole time. Elisa's asking the question and reading it and being, slinging her arm out and yeah, yeah.
Eric.
And it's so funny. It's hard sometimes to sit here and be still and listen and
I
I
bet.
want people to know that. So, like, when they're going into meditation or Eric's talking to them or pranking them, I mean, part of Eric's personality is he doesn't stay quiet. And so you think you might be going crazy in your head, but no, you might just have Eric.
Yeah, that's probably true. He was like that when he was here too, but he was younger.
So he
So yeah,
wants
but
to
it's a good
say
question, Eric. What do you say?
yes. He wants to say yes to the question that there are, he says, let's say, deep seated soul needs or attractions, he goes, for lack of a better word, that kind of run through every incarnation that you pick. And he said it kind of goes along also with choosing the same thread of a contract or a lesson, as well as the question being asked, the likeliness, of having similar personality traits, characteristics, likes and dislikes throughout all kinds of lives, because it's coming from the, for lack of a better term, the original you.
Hmm.
And the original you doesn't shift and go back and forth and chameleon as you dive into different lifetimes and titles and experiences and names. It stays kind of like a core or a deep value, and then it kind of morphs from them. It's like he goes, like Dustin Hoffman. Of course, let's mention Dustin
Yeah,
Hoffman.
why not? That came out of nowhere.
It did. He said, "Yeah, but Mom, oh, when you look at his acting and you look at his roles, they're incredibly different than him.
That's true.
But yet you look at him and you're like, oh, I hear a little bit of Dustin Hoffman in
Mm,
there. I see where he gave birth to that idea. It
yeah.
came from him, but it's completely different than him." So using the concept or just the metaphor of acting kind of helps you understand how you get to role play all these characters and lives to play out contracts and lessons and gather all these experiences that you claim that you need for yourself to be who you desire or want to be, or manifesting to be. And he said, so, he goes, so, that's my answer. It's like you cut it off right away. I thought he was going to keep going.
Okay, so you have, sorry, Yorkie coming through. You have don't walk on my keyboard.
Defying
You have a
Yorkie.
bit of Erikness in all your incarnations then, right? And what would those what personality traits do you, Erik, tend to keep in all your incarnations?
Is this in a particular order?
No, I don't care.
The first one he said, because he rarely leans on things as he's standing. I'm normally used to seeing him just kind of flouncing around and pacing. And he goes, well, my seductive charm.
Of course.
Like, come on, that's a given. um, as well as he said, outspoken.
Okay.
And he goes, and outspoken doesn't mean loud. It doesn't mean opinionated. He goes, I just want to be clear on that. Outspoken means I don't mind going outside of the parameters, outside the box, and talk about what shouldn't be talked about.
So emotionally honest and assertive.
Yeah, I wouldn't put assertive on there, Mom. But yes, emotionally honest. I do that one.
What's wrong with being assertive?
He goes, well, I've had many lives where I'm not really assertive.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We were
What
looking
other
at
personality
common
traits?
threads.
Anything else? Your rascaliness, has that always been part of the thread?
His pranksterness.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, we should make that a movement, like the hipster movement. The next should be the prankster movement.
Me likey. Watch out, Bella.
He said yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put her down. See how long that lasts.
2 seconds.
What kind of interests do you sort of retain? This guy was talking about how you might have a proclivity for the arts rather than the sciences in all your incarnations. Do you have any interests that have sort of continued throughout different incarnations?
Music.
Music, of course. Now, this last time life, you were so into mechanical stuff, fixing cars, putting lift kits on people's trucks for them, welding, usual manly stuff. Has that been part of the thread, or is that some new? Has not been.
But a little
More
bit
masculine or feminine or a mixture?
mixture.
Yeah.
I want to mimic you, so I can't get that whole essence, but sometimes he puts on this like professor face, like he's smarter than we all know him to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually kind of like being a woman.
Oh, okay. Why?
Yeah. He goes, because then my emotional honesty doesn't seem so fucking out of bounds.
Oh, I see.
I get to
Especially in
be
the incarnations in the past, even though it's all happening at once.
Yeah, and he goes, if we're talking linear, the women that are coming in now, he goes, talking about some ball busting.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about some really strong emotional strength. He says it's going to be a lot easier in our world to be able to talk about how you feel.
Good. And maybe we'll train some men, too, and make it okay for them. All right, let me see what else that was only part of his question, okay? Maybe this is all the same, too. Let me see. If we were able to look at all our incarnations, would we find a common thread? Yeah. And would that include a repeating aspect of our soul's personality? We already answered that. Is the me I am now a total result of my nurture, environment, experience, or DNA of this lifetime? Or does there also exist a me whose basic disposition and consciousness always was and always will be?
There is a kind of small portion of you that always will and always will be, but you have to see that small portion, my friend, as being clay-like in substance. It's not always maintaining the same shape. but
Okay.
it's always the same kind of mass. You know, it can change color, it can change shape or texture, but it's always the same mass. He
God,
goes, Mom, just knit her a cape so that every time you like take her over the front
really?
of the camera.
Yorkie.
Oh.
For Bella. Bella is like trying to walk all over the keyboard here, annoying me. Okay, anything else on that? Did we
He
finish?
says, no, that's that. He
Okay.
says, I think that captures it.
And how much of our soul's personality do we carry with each incarnate experience? Is there a certain percentage? Or do we
No.
of it? Or
No, he says, because when you're getting into different incarnations, you're choosing really specific scenarios. And so you might want to throw in 10% core mass, or maybe you're throwing in 50%
oh,
core mass because that will enhance that character, that time frame, that
okay.
identity that you're building. He said that's yeah, he says that's to per every individual case.
Okay. That makes sense.
He goes,
Kind of
but
like
I will
a
be
heart
clear. I
thing,
will
huh?
be clear. Wait, I will be clear that there's not an incarnation where you throw in 0%.
Okay. All right. Now he also wants to, and this no, this might be a different person. Not that it matters. Can you interact with your various selves in another life?
Yes.
So wait, can we have more than one self in this life?
Yes.
We can?
You will not implode.
Whoa. So I could be like a rancher in Wyoming and a doctor here in Houston right now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. He keeps making rude jokes about having sex with yourself.
Oh, of course.
I'm a little like,
That's a given. That's a given. He's got to do things
um,
like
um, yes, you can have same portions of yourself incarnate at the same time.
that. Wow, how common is that?
He said it's not too common, but it's not unheard of.
Do I have somebody?
No.
Okay. So what would it be like to meet that person? Would it feel funny, different?
Um, most likely you wouldn't come across yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's occasions you will. And he says what it feels like is that you really know that person. And it's not like a sexual love kind of a thing, though if it was, hell, that's fine. But it's more of like a, because when I say you feel like you know someone, everybody immediately falls into, I'm getting in bed with that person. He goes, that's not really what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that it's an acknowledgement that goes beyond that need to romance someone. Um, he said it's not unhealthy and it's not unheard of.
Well, can we use our free will to change our other lives?
Yes, you can.
How?
Because why do people keep? He's off and pacing.
Of course.
It's kind of like a mumble to himself. And you can see his arms go out and he goes, why do people keep fucking thinking that time is fixed and that matter is stagnant? And he's like, that shit's gotta stop. He
Because
goes, we
we got
can't talk about all
to
stuff if
go.
that's what everybody believes in.
Hey, you didn't know that when you were here, so cut us a little slack.
Oh, she nailed you to that one. Yeah, he's nodding his head. That's true, that's true, it's true. He goes, but he goes, well, how else can we, he's not saying anything. How else can we show people this? Or at least give them the concept that it's possible and that it's actually more plausible to have the belief in that everything is flexible than plausible to believe that everything is fixed. He's like,
Yeah.
how can we push the masses over into that plausibility? He goes,
Yeah.
that's what I want to go for. And because when you get into that, then the questions you're asking, they kind of seem a little silly, don't they? Well, I guess, Eric, but if we don't ask the questions, we can't sort it out in our own heads.
That's right. We're in
He
your
says,
head.
okay. Yeah. He goes, okay, ask the questions.
All right. So I don't know what he's really meaning. Use our free will to change our other lives. Are they talking about the other lives in our current lifetime, or can we change them in the past, in our past and future lives? Can we change those with our free will?
Yes, you can change every incarnation, even the one you're living in, even it's kind of fun to see him a little frustrated.
Oh, I
He
know.
knows, it's like he knows what he wants to say, but I don't think he can't convey it in English as quick as he really wants to. Um, he says, everybody, when you look at your life right now and you think of yourself in 3 years, you could probably design it however you'd like, right? And that's totally okay with you thinking that way.
Sure.
You can see yourself being here, there, way out in left field. It's totally fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because your concept is that the future hasn't been done yet. So it's flexible, right? Right. He goes, but when we look at your past, it's almost like those goddamn fucking history books
Whoa.
that they have in school,
Yeah.
where everything is written down and it's dun 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 dun, and we're told that's what fucking happened and that's how it's always gonna fucking be and there's no way of changing it and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, so that's the way that you believe your past is. Well, guess what? Your past is just as flexible as your future is. The only moment that is somehow fixed, if we need to use that word, is the one you're in right now. Now. Now.
Yeah. Now.
Now. Right now. No.
Okay. Now is, yeah.
So if we're looking at future lives and past lives, you can, by connecting to higher consciousness, core self, whatever, or even just consciously learning the lessons and contracts, however you want to call that shit, in this life, it will affect the other lives that are kind of parallel or tethered to a similar contract.
Ah.
You have mass learning within all of your incarnations. That was a really cool image. I don't think I can explain it, but you have mass learning of all your incarnations. It's kind of cool to think about yourself as being in a mass version.
Yeah.
Did I blow your mind,
Yeah.
Jamie?
What mind? Can our afterlife self change our our current life or other lives?
Yes, but that's more driven from the lives that are being led, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I don't want you to think that your after self life is kind of the conductor to all the ones, because that son of a bitch knows way much more
Oh yeah.
than all the other lives being led. So we can't give that guy the baton. So why are you choosing to live all the lives and really, kind of do this shit?
Afterlife self is not our higher self, is it? Or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
so do you
Yes. Yeah.
hang out with my afterlife self?
Yes.
Wow,
And
that's
I
weird.
poke it with a stick.
How does it go? Yeah, prod it with a cattle prod sometime, man. So tell me about that. Tell me about our little encounters.
He said, actually, I like to hang out with higher self because higher self understands all the healing that needs to be done in your life on earth and kind of what your purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
And so in talking to you, to your higher self has already done all of that.
Yeah.
And he said, so it's kind of cool to look at the before you, the now you, and the after version you.
Yeah.
He's laughing that he gets to make it sound very linear.
Yeah. That is just weird. Am I still a mother figure to you?
Very much so,
Oh,
yeah.
good. I always want to be your mommy. I
He
do. How many selves do people have usually? In different incarnations.
says, I've met people who have 6, 7,
Mm-hmm.
up to hundreds.
Wow. So it's big range. How many do I have? And how many do you have?
10 million. No, he's talking in the ranges of 20s to 30s.
Both of us?
Yeah, he has more than you.
More? Okay, you're just an overachiever. What about Jamie? How many lives does she got going on now?
Smart ass.
What?
Hopefully one, because that's all that she can manage.
I knew it was going to be something.
That's my favorite number. 3 is my favorite number.
So
He
you have
said 30. No, he said 33.
Oh, 33. Oh, that's good. That's a lot.
I wonder if that's why that's my favorite number.
Anything else about multiple selves? Higher self? Anything else?
No, he's showing me a really strange image that if you all got together like at a family reunion, you'd have to be, you'd have to get a long ass bike, like tandem bikes.
Oh, yeah?
All your incarnated selves on the same bike. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, that sounds really cheesy, like part of a cheesy movie. Okay. This was awesome, guys. And on
He
our
said
next, we'll probably
cheesy
talk
was my
about.
mug.
Let me see your mug.
He
Oh,
said that was cheesy.
oh,
It's my cat
pretty
mug.
cheesy, pretty cheesy.
It was given to me.
Okay, we'll come back and talk about something exceptional next session. So, bye, guys, and don't
Stay tuned.
check out what follows. Don't cut this thing off now. Look at the title, the pages that follow on this video, or else Mama Lisa's gonna get you.
Erik's
Bye.
gonna haunt you. He said,
Yeah, and
see
Eric's gonna haunt
peeps.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.